And we should be live.
We are live.
Awesome. So, hello everybody. I'm Sushikat, and I hope you've all had a fantastic day. And today we're talking about video games with a couple of friends. So, would you guys like to introduce yourselves?
Well, Gary, you go first this time, I think.
Hello, I'm Sergeant Rock. You can call me Gary, and this should be an entertaining conversation.
And I'm Mortal, and I hope that this doesn't get too completely ridiculously over the top because I'm trying to restrain myself after the near aneurysm I've had over the past 2 weeks.
Man, that's
It's,
going to be disappointing if you don't have an aneurysm.
It'll be a controlled aneurysm under medical observation.
All right.
So, yeah, we had a well, CNN decided to embarrass themselves again, and when they were talking about the Fresno shooting or the Fresno shooter that shot a guy on he shot a guy on Facebook Live, just walking home. You know, the guy was just walking home, and 74-year-old Robert Godwin. I have the article here, or one of the articles pertaining to it here, but in the chat, sorry, in the not in the article, actually, in the news report, they said that the shooting was like a video game where, you know, in games like Call of Duty and Fallout 4, you know, that was sat behind the gun, and that's how we see the gun, and therefore, you know, it to the shooter, it's just like a video game, and you know, to kids today, the video games are just like that. So, you know, that's kind of why I wanted to bring it up. And then there's a long-standing argument that video games cause sexism.
And gun violence, as you have in the title. I love the intimation that everything is first person, though. It's like, oh, it's shot from the first person, just like every video game ever. Okay, casually looks at Pac-Man.
Yeah, I mean, it's the same argument that they've been trying to use for years, and you know, personally, I've never felt like the argument has ever had any merit whatsoever. You know, first they tried to say it desensitizes people, just the amount of violence in video games, and now they're trying to say just the angle in which you're playing is somehow going to be what's going to make all of the difference in the world.
Normalize it to be like real life.
Right. Yeah. Which, you know, I have buddies that, you know, in the army that have, you know, even though I was in the army, I didn't like go out and do combat, but I have buddies that were in combat and all that kind of stuff, and you know, had firefights and all those things. And video games is nothing like that whatsoever.
No.
All you have to do is ask anybody that's been in an actual firefight in the military, and they can tell you it's nowhere near like a fucking video game.
I'm sorry, I kind of have to read this bit out because Thrax has just put a comment in the chat there that video games do not cause violence, lag does.
That's very true. That is very, very true.
Oh dear. What fucks me off about it really is the enormously oblique and obtuse way that they're trying to grasp at this concept. Like, okay, we all know they're trying to fight a battle that they already lost 20 years ago, right?
Right.
That's like, let's put that face up on the table where we can see it. That's idiotic enough in itself. But the fucking cowardly look, sidle shift look kind of way that they're doing it to sort of make it kind of seem like they're not opening that can of worms again, at least not directly, maybe, is sort of, wow. Not only are you fucking retarded assholes trying to say something that has been proved patently ridiculous several times over, but you're not even going out with the guts to come up front and say, this is what I believe about the situation, and you all should listen to me because I've thought about it. You're just like, oh, but from this angle, it looks like such and such. It's like, yeah, well, from this angle, it looks like the exact same damn thing. Because guess what? It is life. It happened. That's why it looks so realistic. Adoy.
Exactly.
Yeah, but I love the idea that, you know, they're comparing real life, quote, graphics to game graphics. I mean, you know, game graphics has come a long way, but, you know, I don't look at Fallout 4, which is one of the things that they actually referenced, and go, oh my god, it's so lifelike. You know?
Right.
I
Well,
mean, have you seen those faces?
first of all,
Oh, yeah.
you know, they're calling out Fallout 4 just for the simple fact that it's, like, you know, been successful and all those things. Not the fact that it's, you know, you know, because everybody that knows that's played it, they know it does not look realistic. They know that, you know, I mean, it looks good. Don't get me wrong. I, you know, enjoy the way that it looks and all that, but it does not look realistic.
Yeah,
And
you're never going to confuse it for anything even remotely real.
right, exactly. But it's the flavor of the month, so to speak, because it's been a successful game. And
you know, it's still a highly played game. Even, you know, it's like what, a little over a year that it come out now. It come
right,
out
Yeah, like a year and a half.
it's come out just after my birthday. 2015, 2016, 2015, I think. Can't remember. Fuck it. You know, and you know, it's still a really well played game. And I mean, you know, everyone goes, "Oh my god, COD, it's so violent." Like, well, yeah, it's kind of meant to be.
What I want to know is, right, the fucking cowardice of this going for the soft target. Where is the enterprising, trailblazing journo who's going to like put on an over-the-shoulder disguised camera and go into a strip club and then yell on the internet, "It looks just like Bayonetta"?
right.
Or go to an MMA
that's
match
another
and
thing.
say
That's
it's Mortal
another thing.
Kombat.
Bayonetta was created by a woman. You know, the main devs and I believe the like the story writer and stuff like that for Bayonetta, that was all a woman. And yet Bayonetta is classed as one of the, you know, really big, oh my god, it's so sexist, you know, games. It's like, well, what the fuck? You know, it's like you have, and I know I'm going to be, you know, I know there's going to be a few people that are going to be like, oh my god, are you really referencing her? But, you know, it's like Anita Sarkeesian done a whole fucking thing on how Bayonetta is an extremely sexist game and it objectifies women and it makes men not respect women because it objectifies women, and therefore
The good old male gaze
reason-
argument, in short.
yeah, basically, you know, and it's just like,
Yeah, what-
well, what the fuck?
What about the female gaze, though? I mean, you're looking at Bayonetta as an example. It's like
perfectly fine, you know, a woman, and unless a woman is objectifying another woman, in which case it's internalized misogyny. If a woman is looking at a guy and objectifying a guy, that is perfectly fine.
no,
Yeah,
I'm not
they
even.
have
I'm
this
not even
really
bringing
fucking
that shit up.
stupid double standard.
And what I'm driving at is, where do you draw the line between like making a character attractive, confident, forward, empowered, and proactive, and objectification? Because the necessary components of those things seem to be fucking identical, apparently. I mean, I look at Bayonetta as a character, right, not knowing very much about her, and my takeaway from her is she wouldn't give pretty well any man the time of day. It's like, it's her fucking gift to the whole universe just that she exists, okay? That is a character who gives not a shit about what any man might potentially try to impress upon her. And if it came to the point of any serious interference, she'd fucking heel flip his ass off a cliff and shoot him with her stiletto guns.
Ooh, stiletto guns, those sound fun.
But she does, and also her hair is her clothes and her weapon. So, it's like if she's doing like one of her super attacks or something like that, she actually like takes all her hair off her body, which is her clothes, and beats you to death with her hair. She
goes all porno Sailor Moon about it. Apparently.
Finishing move.
All right, I'm just gonna mute myself a moment because I'm gonna ask Sai if he wants to go into the bedroom rather than listen to me talk to you guys.
No, I'm laughing.
Oh, you're laughing at us.
It's funny.
Fair enough.
Trust me, I am thinking things from the background.
It is pretty entertaining.
Have yourself a cookie. They're freshly baked today.
And you did not bring enough to share with the entire class.
Actually, I did. There's loads of cookies, and they're quite big ones as well.
Give me the cookies, dang it. And also
Actually,
the alcohols.
Yeah, I have actually realized that I don't have my alcohol here right now, so I'm going to ask Simon very, very sweetly if he'll get my alcohol and the glass and the Coke.
This is what you brought me over.
Hey, Eddie, I even baked your batch of cookies today. No. Gav is here.
Yeah.
Sai says hi.
Hey-o.
Yeah, I baked the cookies today.
Sure. Make the cookies for the British people.
All right, Robert.
That's nationalism, Oh wait, that's fascism.
The
new definition of fascism.
Well, considering that I'm a woman and I spent most of my day today in the kitchen, I think it's internalized misogyny, and a call back to old traditional values, and therefore it's all sorts of bad things.
Did you wear an apron while you were doing it?
I did actually wear an apron.
That's awesome.
It gets worse. A man bought it for her, specifically at her request. How deep even does this misogyny hole go? Get your spelunking equipment, kids.
I'm telling you.
Yeah, it's like a man bought me my apron.
Horrible.
So not cool.
Was it for my birthday or for was it for my birthday or was it for Christmas? I think
it was Christmas.
Yeah, he bought me an apron for Christmas.
Wow.
That's a wonderful level of sexism, isn't it?
What do you follow up with for your birthday? A vacuum cleaner?
I'm not 100% sure. All right, Simon has just raised the question of what anyone. Hey Tony. Simon's just raised the question. It's like, where does the phrase "go to the kitchen and make me a sandwich" come from, and why is it always a sandwich?
Because sandwiches are good.
Well, I know sandwiches are good. My fucking sandwich video is one of our most popular videos.
It's an Americanism, I
Classic.
think.
Yeah,
It's
probably
some
is.
stereotypical redneck shit. I don't know.
But yeah, I mean, yeah, the Frax has got a good point there. It's like, the whole Mortal Kombat. I mean, that's been touted as one of the most brutal and fucking violent games out there.
But just because you pull people's spines out of their bodies?
And beat them to death with their own skull, still
Yeah.
attached to the spine. Yeah.
That seems like perfectly normal stuff.
You kick a guy in the nuts and they explode.
Yeah, and then he
But,
keeps
I mean-
on fighting.
Yeah, and then he keeps on fighting. Because that would, that would happen. I don't imagine any guy would crumple to the floor in fits of pain.
No.
I don't know about you, but I'd probably die from neurological shock.
Probably. I'd be right there with you, buddy.
But yeah, that's the
But
thing.
you know,
of it.
when those games were in their heyday, you didn't see people squaring off in the middle of the street wanting to fight.
Some guy comes on with a skull mask and yells, "Finish him!" It's like
one of the things that got me, that gets me is the more quote realistic a game has got, and the more common it is, the more common it is for people to play games and to do that, the lower the levels of violent crime has become. We can actually see a direct correlation between the level of popularity in video games and the levels of violent crime.
Huh.
Yeah, that was
almost like they're channeling their anger and their hatred through a video game instead of real life. Weird.
Yeah. It's just sad and pathetic. It's like by this time they're not even doubling down; they're like octupling down.
Well, I mean, and these arguments have come about since around / just before Columbine, and when they were trying to blame Doom. Hey, Monkey,
Right.
how are you, hon?
Hey, Monkey.
Hey, dude.
And it's like they've been trying to say that it's the violent video games' fault. Columbine happened because they were playing video games, and now they're turning around and they're saying that the Fresco shooter, it happened because he played violent video games. Like, no, fuck you. It's like we've already disproven this.
Right.
It's like we already know that this isn't true, but they're still trying to attack and make video games out to be the big bad.
That's because they have no other way to form any sort of quote unquote argument about anything. They're like, when in doubt, let's just blame everything else.
Yeah, it's like they can't just turn around and say, "Oh, well, this guy has, he's mentally not right. He's a bit of a fucking psycho, and he thinks that this kind of thing is perfectly acceptable." Rather than turning around and saying that, no, they're like, nope, it's the video games. He plays video games. Like,
well, yeah, we definitely cannot blame the person.
That's the weird thing. Because what I see out of it, and please stick with me as I try to fucking follow this circuitous logic, is that they're doing the classic thing of like confusing correlation with causation. It's like it's not that disturbed minds will gravitate to this kind of media because they'll enjoy it, because of course they fucking will, because they're disturbed. That sort of media implants it in your idea that it's okay. At what point in like the 1920s then did everyone start running around in bowler hats, like silently miming things to each other and then holding up flashcards with speech written on them?
Yeah, so I don't remember trying to jump down fucking, I don't remember trying to jump down um drain pipes and stuff like that after playing fucking Mario.
Oh
I
no,
heard there was a huge rash of people getting go-karts with turtles that they shot out the ass end, running around the streets trying to wipe people out. That was a huge thing. Sorry, my sarcasm's really kind of trying to flow because these people really annoy the shit out of me. Like the other day, I just said it on Twitter. I'm like, the the stupid. It just keeps coming. It's like the hits keep rolling, man. It's absolutely crazy. I don't get it. It's like, when in doubt, let's just make up some more stupid shit because hey, we can make it stick.
yeah, but they can't though. I mean, if any of this made any sort of logical sense or had any psychological basis in reality whatsoever, it wouldn't be fucking Fallout 4 or GTA or any of the big hitters that was inspiring this shit. It would be little indie darlings like Hatred, which we all laugh at and have done since it was fucking announced.
Right.
Does anyone even fucking remember Hatred here these days, like 2 or 3 years ago?
I vaguely remember Hatred, but I never actually played it or anything like that. So
Yeah, I remember hearing about it, but that's about it. And it was like, that seems like a game that I'm going to have to not play.
It's literally about a spree shooter who regains health by curb stomping people.
Right.
But there's like what was it? There was that kid in America who had a he had like an app on his phone where he could like he pushes the button and it's got like a gun pop up on it and he was going around. He recorded a like a short little video of basically him doing a school shooting, and they tried to put him in prison for it. It was an app on his phone where he just had a recording, like like a where you can attach like cameras and that to your chest and stuff like that, and it was just him wandering around with his phone.
Huh.
But, it was just him shoot, and everyone that was involved, everyone that got quote shot was there voluntarily.
Right.
And they scripted it, and they were actually acting it out. And I don't think they went so far as to storyboard, but everything that they done, it was all voluntary. It was all a bunch of mates just having a laugh with this little app on the phone, and they tried to imprison him for it because, and I quote, he could have been preparing to actually shoot up the school.
Yeah, because every fucking genius spree killer is going to like throw up something like that as a big tip off that he's planning stuff. Might as well like write out his entire plan in the diary and mail it to the police with a big note that says, "Please arrest my psychotic ass."
It's just like, what the fuck? It was a little home. I think it was like a 5-minute home movie. Well, what the fuck is this?
It's like the backyard science videos are more dangerous than this shit. Come on.
Right.
Where did our common sense and our to exactly?
Well, as it turns out, common sense isn't quite so common, apparently.
Common sense is a superpower.
According to Deadpool, and who would know better than him?
Hey, Deadpool stole my line. I've been saying that for years. I should demand royalties on that one line.
There you go. Somewhere, someplace, somebody is.
Oh God.
Simon's asking how old the kid was. Well, he was in what would effectively be secondary school for us. So he was about 16, 17 years old. I think that's what, middle school, high school?
Yeah, yeah. Basically middle school ish, maybe late high school.
But yeah, and it's just like, well, it's like, yeah, okay, so he's like 16, 17. He's a dumbass kid that done a dumbass thing. Particularly when he done it, I think there'd been a couple of school shootings at the time. But that doesn't. I mean, I don't comprehend how they went from, oh, he done a scripted home movie of him and a couple of mates in the dorm room using a phone app to shoot each other and fall over dead and rah rah rah. Go from that to he's potentially going to shoot up the school. Oh my god, we need to arrest him now.
Okay, another question. Where the fuck is laser tag in this argument?
Right.
I mean,
And
seriously.
yeah, laser tag and
Sorry.
paintball.
Fucking
all those
paintball,
Quasar.
LARP.
Yeah, LARP. I mean, yeah, it's like I used to go LARP and that. But, that doesn't mean that I am training myself to run around with an actual sword to kill people with it. It's like I'm running around with a bunch of mates, battering each other with fucking latex weaponry, having a laugh, going to the pub afterwards and having a couple of drinks. Like there's just no fucking logic to that.
Yeah, but once these people get a fucking bee in their bonnet about something they don't like, it has to end their way or not at all.
Well, and it doesn't help that they seem to think that they have to be able to provide some sort of explanation as to why something happened, as opposed to just saying, this guy was just a shithead and he decided he wanted to kill somebody. That in and of itself is why it happened.
Yep,
Yeah,
pretty much.
and
Or this one guy is just a psycho fuck that whatever, and not there doesn't have to be some magic reason to it, something that drove him to do it. Maybe he was just a fucking idiot psycho.
Yeah, I believe he did actually give a reason, if I'm thinking of the right guy. And that was he was blaming I think it was his mother and his ex-girlfriend. And he was saying, yeah, it's like, this is her fault, and that in the video. So, and it's like, well, yeah, okay, so how do you get from this is her fault to it's the video games?
Maybe his
Well, you see,
his girlfriend was frozen for 200 years in a vault.
Well, that's the Fallout reference right there. That's
Right.
how, that's how they linked it to Fallout.
no, I think you're missing an important detail right here, guys, in that he was claiming it was a woman's fault. Therefore, there has to be some underlying societal reason why he did it, rather than actually having some weird fucked up problem with the women in his life.
Right, exactly.
It's systemic sexism. That's what it was. He was systemically sexist.
Because he shot an old man on the street.
Yeah, but they can't call him racist because he's not white.
Logic shit, what, lol?
Because that makes perfect sense. Because, what was it the other day? They were just saying that, I think it was in Portland or some shit, that blacks are incapable of being racist.
Yeah, of course. But I mean, we've retrod this ground so often in previous streams, it's not even funny.
Right.
Hey, Sarge.
Yeah.
From your perspective as being both a player of Fallout 4 and as an individual who has handled actual weapons in a professional capacity,
And
please explain to us exactly how harrowingly similar the act of constructing and using a fucking pipe pistol is to the use of a genuine handgun.
Well, I mean, they both take ammo. And they have something that you pull, and it makes the ammo, explode and then shoot the projectile. That's where the similarities end. Now, when I'm holding a pipe pistol in Fallout, playing Fallout, I'm not going, this is vaguely familiar to the grease gun that I shot, or the M249 saw that I carried, or the M16 that I, toted around. Not a single time have I, picked up any weapon in Fallout and said, this feels exactly like, all those training things that I did and the times that I spent on the range and, the road marches not a single time have I thought that. It's just like, I know I must be the weird one being able to separate reality from a video game. It's odd that people can actually do that.
I know, man. We are such freaks like that.
Yeah, I'm one of the rare few that can do both.
Hey, I want the chat. If you can separate reality from a video game, I want you to press 1 on your keyboard right now.
I'm including myself in the chat because I'm kind of half-assed watching it. But what strikes me about it, because I spend a lot of time watching a channel called Forgotten Weapons, and sometimes our host Ian, he does like range tests and like shows off the mechanics and what have you. It always strikes me how massively fucking different the handling characteristics, the recoil, the reload times, and everything is from video game descriptions and representations of any kind of gun.
Right.
Like even the revolvers are just miles off from the heft I see Ian having. When on those very rare occasions when he gets his hands on a vintage revolver, he's actually allowed to fire.
Well, and in video games as well, unless they specifically make the video game to, use the appropriate physics, like in Fallout, if I shoot a round, through my sniper rifle or whatever, you don't have to worry about the wind. You don't have to worry about the curvature of the earth or gravity pulling the round down. I'm not aiming, on a, 500-meter shot. I'm not aiming like a foot above the dude's head or anything like that for the round to fall. I line it up and I pull the trigger. It's like really simple. It's nowhere near like shooting a real weapon.
It's almost like you're firing in a vacuum with zero gravity.
Right, exactly.
So what all these video games are actually doing is training us for the day when we have to go into space and fight off the Zardoz hordes.
Exactly. We're all becoming very well trained in that regard.
I'm a Space Marine in my bright pink armor running around in circles typing AEIOU.
Let's face it, the Space Marines wouldn't take humor.
Nah, they probably wouldn't. Not unless it was like some kind of weird, hey, let's see how much we can augment a human to put them on a par with what we want, like an experimental program where they take the absolute bottom of the barrel scrapings and try to build a super soldier as like just a harebrained shot in the dark experiment.
Sounds like a hell of a good deal to me.
Yeah, I don't know. I think from my reading and playing experience, most super soldiers of the far future have their sex drive completely fucked by the process. So,
I mean, if you want to have a sex drive, I mean, if that's important to you.
Oh, I'm sorry. I forget. I live in a world where men are not allowed to have any sort of biological function at all.
Exactly.
Oh yeah. Did you know that it's actually sexist for a man to take pleasure in bringing a woman to orgasm?
Sounds about right.
I'm sorry. It's like Simon just looks incredibly confused with that statement.
What? He doesn't know that women have orgasms?
No,
Only
All
in
right,
video
Simon, I
games,
don't know
Sarge.
you, and I'm already picking on you.
Only in video games, Sarge. Only in video games.
Yeah, correct. That's the appropriate statement.
And only in
you know,
weird
it's like,
cutscenes with dry clothes on humping.
yeah. Well, what makes me laugh is yeah, things like Mass Effect and that. You know where they had yeah, well, you know that where they had the sex scene with either Caden or with Liara, depending on who you went with. Or
Right.
in Dragon Age Origins, you have dry humping, basically, with all your clothes on. Yeah, they had like this whole fucking thing where they threw fits about it because, you know, they were just like, oh my god, you know, it's like it's really sexist to portray
So vulgar.
sex in a video game.
Yeah, despite the fact that you have multiple quite well flagged, signposted opportunities to get your gay on, should you wish.
Right. In fact, it's almost looked down upon if you don't.
Yeah, you know, it's just like, well, you know, just the logical leaps and the backflips that these people do that like turn around and they're like, you know what? Have a shit fit over the sex with Liara in Mass Effect 1. Yeah, specifically with Femme Shepherd, because it was two girls. Yeah, it was two girls having sex, and therefore it's like double the misogyny or something.
Yeah, because lesbian brain humping is the single most man-focused thing ever.
I don't know. I never liked Liara that much, so I always turned her down. I was just like, nope, I'm not interested. I'm sorry, but she's a creepy little fangirl. You know, she's like one of those Japanese schoolgirl fangirls. You
Yeah,
know?
she does come across as a bit yandere with the twitchy eye and all that crap.
Yeah.
Senpai over me. I would not be surprised to find her slitting up Ashley in the bottom of this ship one night.
Yeah, you know, it's just like, yeah, I'd never really liked Liara that much. So yeah. But yeah, you know, it's like they threw this whole fit and they had on the screen, you know, like all blinkered out and that, so that they didn't actually show anything. The sex scene between Femshep and Liara, and it was just like, oh my god, this is just so funny. Hey Reese, do you want to get in here, or are you good to watch?
I wonder if Liara yells "Embrace eternity" right before she comes.
Well, I wasn't expecting that one.
I was like, well, that's not disturbing in the slightest.
I'm sorry, man. I just couldn't help it. It was the thing that always like weirded me out with her brain meld things, where she'd open her eyes and they'd be just like solid black, and that really creepy "Embrace eternity." I'm like, whoa, are you gonna kill me now?
Yeah, Reese, do you want to get in here? Because you did say that you had you had
opinions?
thoughts on this subject.
Okay, so yeah, we're just arranging some things for anyone who happens to watch this after the fact. I can't imagine why you would, but the lull is due to trying to bring a new guest into the show. Yay! The crowd goes wild with dismay and commits mass suicide.
That sounds about right.
Yeah, and by the way,
I'm sorry,
if they have a wrench next to them, they're not a wrench faggot. They're a wench.
Wrench. I'm sorry. Do I have to bring the George Takei gifs into this?
Maybe. I haven't decided just yet.
Maybe.
Which one do we want? Oh my, or you are a douchebag? Because we can make use of both equally.
I was going to say probably both. And now he's ignoring me. He's just being a dick.
Or he's having technical difficulties.
I haven't sent him the link yet because he hasn't confirmed if he wants to get in here.
He can neither confirm nor deny.
Well, yeah, I mean, that's part of the course with him, to be honest.
Right.
But yeah,
Right.
I mean, back to the core point of it, like an over-the-shoulder kind of halfway first person, one man shooting another man. Okay, that's not video gamey, right? That is fucking documentary evidence of murder.
Right.
Yeah,
Right.
I mean, it's
That's
like,
what it is. That's... Well, I mean, what are they going to submit the fucking police car cams things to this kind of shit? Because oh my god, it kind of looks like a second-person view of some kind of weird team multiplayer thing.
That's a very interesting point. I hadn't really thought about the whole police aspect of it yet, though.
well, you know, it's like police have vest cams and that as well now only in America and that, and I believe they've got them over here as well.
Yeah, weren't BLM
And-
trying to squash that shit?
Yeah, because it kept proving them wrong.
Exactly.
It's like, BLM, right? The reason why cops have vest cams in the first place is because BLM, they petitioned for it, and they were like, no, we need evidence that, you know, the cops aren't just randomly shooting black people for no reason. And then-
Oh, look, a black person.
Yeah, and then fucking, you know, and then they were like, oh my god, the cop shot this black person, and they're doing it wrong, and they're doing it because systematic racism, and then the fucking vest cam footage will come out, prove them completely wrong, and you know, and now they're like, no, having the vest cam is racist, and if you continue to have them, then you are propagating systematic racism.
Yay.
And it's like, guys, what?
I mean,
it's the
perfect.
ultimate coast of goalposts that have fucking wheels on them, right?
Right.
It's like they'll just fucking truck that shit all over the pitch at any time they please.
Yep.
Yeah,
I mean,
you know, it's like,
the fucking ref needs glasses for a start. Sorry, I'm fucking sending this off on a weird, unfunny tangent.
hey, Reese, there is a link on Twitter in the I've DM'd you a link. So if you are up for joining the stream, then get your ass in here, hon.
If you don't show up in the next 30 seconds, we'll know you just don't mean business.
Dear.
Oh yeah, we're definitely role playing facts. I'm sorry, but I have been banned for life from Tumblr twice. So yeah, I'm not going back to Tumblr anymore because I keep getting banned.
Got a double life sentence from Tumblr.
It almost sounds like a goal to have.
Well,
What are
I
you
don't
in
know.
for, man?
I think I would get an
Banned twice.
achievement. You know, I'd get achievement unlocked if I actually got banned for life 5 times.
Probably.
2 times lifetime ban combo.
Social
Oh,
media
dear.
Chivos. Gotta love it.
Yeah, I like achievement hunting.
See, now, if we all had Google Glass and this kind of shit actually came with little pop-ups when we did these things, that would be where life started to get gamified.
Right.
Afraid of.
That's the true gamification of life.
Like Tony must get trophies.
Congratulations, you're a mass murderer. 500 gamer points. Press F to pay respects. Go on. Oh, I should get these shitty memes out of here.
Oh, you are a bad person.
But in a good way.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Well,
But yeah,
thank you.
you know, these kinds of things is just, you know, it's just really fucking stupid.
It's really to the point where you just can't make this shit up anymore. I mean, it used to be, you know, you could just be a smartass and make this shit up all day long. Not anymore. Now it's just like, how sad can it really
Hey,
be?
Di, welcome to the stream, Han.
Yodai.
Hey, Di.
But yeah, you know, it's like I just don't get it. You know, it's like you know, to continue to propagate the whole idea that, you know, that video games cause men to be sexist and causes gun violence. You know, I just plain don't get it.
I don't think any of us do, which, I mean, maybe that's
And
kind of the point.
yeah, you know, you've got to be a special kind of fucked up little snowball.
Not even a snowflake anymore.
You know,
My specialness cannot be contained with only one snowflake.
but, you know, it's like you've got to be a special kind of fucked up little snowball to, you know, to continue to fucking argue that, you know, it's like, oh my god, yeah, we know that the statistics for violent crime is actually going down, and we know that the statistics for the number of people that actually enjoy playing video games is going up, and we can actually see the correlation between the two. But violent video games still cause gun violence. You know, it's like, you know, it's like we're gonna take our argument back to Columbine. You know, and we did actually talk about it in the a little bit in the Doom playthrough that we done.
Right.
You know, and you know, it's like we sat there in that one, and we were just like, you know, well, obviously not. This was a couple of fucking morons that decided, you know what, I've had enough. I don't like people. I don't like myself. I'm doing badly in school. I'm doing badly in life. I'm fucked up little, you know, as I'm fucked in the head anyway. And you know, I'm gonna go and shoot people. And had, you know, and they were just like, oh, you know, and you know, one of the arguments that they had for Doom being the quote the cause was that they played Doom, and therefore that meant that they, you know, it's like that means that Doom was actually training them in how to use a gun and how to shoot people.
Which, of course, is so much enormous piles of fucking bullshit you could fertilize half of the goddamn Dust Bowl.
You know, and you know, it's like that guy that was saying that again, Fallout 4. You know, it's like Fallout 4's hacking was teaching kids how to hack people's computers.
Well,
Yeah, because that is precisely how hacking works.
and CNN and MSNBC actually used the this hacking screen from Fallout to when they were talking about Russia hacking all of the DNC stuff and all that. Yeah, that was their screen that they used to demonstrate it. It's like, really? You realize you're using a video game hacking screen,
Well,
which
you
is
know,
about as made up as it comes.
well, there was
I
actually
mean,
a guy in America, I think he was like a senator or something, that was actually saying that, games like Fallout with their hacking and stuff like that was teaching kids how to hack.
Honestly, I think the fucking plumbing mini game from BioShock would be a more appropriate thing, because at least there's a certain amount of threading through and working out ahead of time how you're going to get through the systems there is, rather than being presented with a long list of options that you can pick and choose from at your leisure. It's just so fucking hilarious. I mean, if they'd used a still from war games, that at least would have been kind of halfway maybe accurate, because that's sort of what hackers would do at the time with their literal telephone line connections.
Right.
That was kind of like a semi-accurate representation of hacking, because if I can remember, that kid got in through his university network and then bumbled across what we would call a server that he'd never seen before,
Right.
and spent a while cracking the password on that shit. And it's like, I mean, it's not 100% accurate, because that would have taken him 8 fucking hours in reality just to connect. But it at least has some pretense to reality, whereas Fallout is like, here's a list of options, herp de derp. Pick the right one and you get a prize.
And you guess the right one in so many guesses?
It's just a really shitty little mini game. That's all it is. But no, it's teaching the America's youth how to hack computers.
You know what? They should encourage that shit. It would make their systems so much more secure in the future.
Well, just like, next, I'm surprised that they didn't, there wasn't a huge thing about, the movie Hackers back in the day. I don't know how many people out there actually watched that movie, but it's actually one of my favorites because it's so stupid. Yeah, because that's what the internet and computer languages and everything looks like. A bunch of funky little images and shit. Yeah, because that's how it works. Oh, look, we can just in 30 seconds, I can just put this. I'm just going to put this virus out here on the middle of this corporate server and just take down the whole thing. You bet. No problem.
Yeah, because the corporations don't actually employ some of the best hackers in the world themselves.
Right, exactly.
And virus authors. I wouldn't be surprised if there's this policy in American prison systems whereby if you get a hacker or a virus coder in, it's once they're out on their parole, you immediately offer them a job if they did anything to actually earn a decent sentence.
Right, exactly.
Well, that would be the way to do it, though, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
It's like, if you hire someone that, say, for instance, X person hacked some government fucking installation, you just fucking, let them serve their sentence and then hire them and be like, right, now find all the fucking, find all the holes in our system.
Right. Well, that a lot of the hackers and stuff from the 80s and 90s, that's what they ended up doing. They end up becoming corporate security guys.
For exorbitant sums of money, of course.
Well, not everyone has those kinds of skills, though.
It is a gifted skill set. I'll say that much about it. But it all boils down to the point that I think we've all made in our own different ways along the way, is that the similarities are so fucking thin, and the lengths that you have to go to double think your way to an understanding that this is how it works are so long and circuitous that I'm honestly fucking surprised that these people know how a tin opener works.
Holy
It's
shit,
just
I have
like,
both my wenches in the stream today.
yay!
Always good to have a winch.
Yeah, but you know, it's really fucking stupid that, you know, what we would consider, you know, job worthy later on. And I have actually seen a job application for a guy that used to run a. All right, Thrax. I'll talk to you later, Han. Bye. Yeah, he used to run. His business was drug export, and he used to smuggle drugs and that, and he had something like 20 vans, and you know, all that. And he actually based an entire fucking like, I am looking for a job. This is my skill set. Off that, after he come out of prison, and he actually got a job off it.
Yeah, I can imagine that's well the case. It's just the separation from reality that these people have that boggles me.
Well, we do have some light at the end of the tunnel.
Hmm.
You know, the generation after the millennials seem to be much more, I suppose, prone to asking questions, not just believing what they're told. Hey, welcome back, Tony.
Welcome back, Tony.
You know,
Well, that's
all
because
that,
they've had absolute dog shit for an education.
yeah, you know, it's like, you know, they'd be told, oh, you know, like, CNN will write an article or something like that, and they'll be like, right, okay, so this is CNN's take. Let's go and find a completely different take on it. And then, you know, they'll actually try to find the truth rather than just going and believing what they're told. You know, as the feminists say, listen and believe, and they don't actually tend to be doing that.
Oh, they'll listen all goddamn day because they're so plugged into their fucking social networks and their news tubes and what have you. Listen to me talking like a grandparent.
Yeah, millennials are exactly the same.
Yeah, but this lot haven't been brought up by the mainstream media, and they aren't in a position where they're like, well, this is a reputable news source. I guess I'll believe them implicitly because I can trust everything they say, which used to be the case to some extent. Now they're like, okay, well, here's one source, but I've got like 18 fucking others that I should probably go listen to get the full picture.
And
but that's my take on it.
Yeah, Robert clearly missed the entire conversation about millennials. All right, DM'd.
Yeah. Well, Robert's lucky enough to actually not be a millennial. He's a millennium baby.
So, Monkey just sent me an article of the prison inmates that built PCs and hid them in the ceiling.
Nice.
I'm going to read this one out. So, prison inmates build custom PCs and hid them in the ceiling by Poor Lily 10 days ago. You can't make this stuff up. In what could easily be confused as an episode of Prison Break, two inmates at Marion Correctional Institute in Ohio, Adam Johnson and Scott Spriggs, are in hot water for piecing together a pair of PCs and hiding them in the ceiling of a training room closet, and then patching them into the prison's network. The prisoners were originally tasked with dismantling old computers for the purpose of recycling old parts. What they did instead was take two computers that could have been disassembled, placed hard drives into the computers, installed a network card, transported the computers across the institution for approximately 1,100 feet, end quote, and hid them, according to a report by the Ohio Inspector General. They also ran wire, cable, and power cords. Using stolen login credentials from one of the guards, the inmates were able to infiltrate the prison's network. While connected, they committed a few cybercrimes, including credit card fraud and identity theft. Had this gone on longer before they
I'm a man of my word.
detected, one of the inmates would have also committed tax fraud by filing false tax forms and having the refunds wired to debit cards. The inmates' undoing was not paying better attention to when they logged on and using the system too much and too often. The IT workers noticed that one of the machines on the network was exceeding the daily internet usage threshold. When they investigated the logs, they discovered that a guard's login credentials was being used on days when he wasn't working. That prompted a wider investigation in which they'd been able to trace where the connection was coming from. Quote, "It surprised me that the inmates had the ability to not only connect these computers to the state network, but had the ability to build these computers," end quote. Mayer told ABC6, according to PC Mag. Quote, "They were able to travel through the institution more than 1,100 feet without being checked by security through several checkpoints, and not a single corrections staff member stopped them from transporting these computers to the administrative portion of the building," end quote. There were 5 inmates involved. In addition to committing identity theft and attempting tax fraud, some of the culprits used the PCs to watch porn, surf through Tor sites,
Of course, they should just surf porn.
chat on Pigeon, and look up articles about making homemade drugs, plastics, and explosives. No word on whether or not they had a Core i7 CPUs or high-end GXT 180 Ti cards.
Oh,
That's
classic.
all well and good, but does it play Crisis? Oh,
Oh, that is
Yeah.
just classic.
But yeah, that's pretty good. That's actually quite funny. But yeah, so that's what they were looking for, the porn.
The internet is for it after all.
That is so true.
Yeah, these men have a definite future in system administration and security,
Yes, they do.
and
Of
also
course, that'll
ripping
be
off their
after
bosses.
Yeah, you know, that's after they do their longest sentence now that they've been caught doing fraud and all that other shit.
Well, I mean, you've got to be impressed, if nothing else. I mean, apart from the fucking startling laxity of the prison in allowing this to happen, that's some brass balls and more than a little smarts went into that plan.
Yeah, you know, it's like they've certainly got a future in system security.
Right now, the warden's going, "So, you need a job? What are you going to do after your sentence is up?"
Yeah,
Hey ho.
just fucking insane. Yeah, and we just end up with all these fucking idiots. You know, it's like, you know, we have people like that who is more than capable of working in security, you know, electronic security and stuff like that. But I would love to see the the fucking, what is it, the what are they called, the fucking meta males or whatever the fuck they're called.
Meta males?
Yeah, basically the little betas that decide that they're going to dress up in skinny jeans and look as effeminate as
Oh,
possible.
metrosexuals.
That's the one.
Yeah.
Oh, well, I mean, okay. Whatever fucking gets them off.
I
It's
always
less
Yeah, it's
complicated.
like, you know,
envisioned Davey being one of those guys.
he kind of is. But,
Let's
you
not
know.
drag that into it.
The
Yeah,
stream
it's
was
like
so well until
unlike dice streams, I don't fucking ban the names of anyone in mine. But yeah, it's like Davey is a little fucking hipster feminist.
right.
Yeah, well, it's payback for all the grands you decided to spew. But
And
yeah,
spew she did.
it's like little manlet. Yeah. What gets me is that he's older than I am. And he acts like a fucking 15, 16-year-old. And that seems to be the mentality of all these people. The people that fucking say that video games cause sexism, video games cause gun violence, that they're like, oh, lesbian porn is sexist, despite the fact that more women watch lesbian porn than men.
You mean actual fucking lesbians?
Yeah, it's like all that kind of shit.
That would be weird.
What is it? Was it YouPorn done a check on their viewers and that to see what they were actually what they were actually watching, and they actually found that more women watched lesbian porn than men. But no, lesbian porn is inherently sexist because it's designed for the male gaze.
Yeah, of course it is,
Right.
honey. Of course it is. That's it, little noob. Run off back to B. Honestly, that
I'm sorry that Simon's just gonna. Am I a sexist pig if I watch ginger midget porn?
Sexist pig? No.
pervert,
Sick,
yes.
sick pervert? Yes.
Join the pervert parade. We're not sexist, honest.
But, it's like, yeah, you have fucking, and I know she is so fucking, low hanging fruit now, but you have Anita Sarkeesian who, has released so many fucking videos, not as many as she promised, but she's released so many videos about, it's like, oh yeah, tropes against women and stuff like that, and how video games are sexist because women are used as a plot hook and they tend to get killed and stuff, where men have to go and save the women. Or if it's a big strong woman as the lead, well, yeah, she's sexualized and objectified and stuff like that, so therefore it's still sexist.
Uh-huh.
It's like, you just point her in the direction of Samus, for fuck's sake.
Oh, yeah, no, don't, okay? Because as of even fucking the first Metroid game, if you really do excel at the game and complete it within a really short time frame and 100% it along the way, you get to see her in her bikini.
Oh my god. Such sexism.
Much
Such
scandal.
objectification. But it's
But
like, yeah, okay, so you casually play Metro Metroid.
Metro. Yeah, just the everyday story of Samus around crawling through a fucking Russian subway ain't nothing special.
You casually play, Metroid and stuff like that. So you don't 100% it. You don't do it really, really fast. Can you tell me at what point is she objectified? Because I'm pretty sure she spends at least the majority of that game, if not all of it, in fucking power armor.
Well, it's just the precursor to my earlier Bayonetta argument, really. Apart from anything else, Samus has no real serious interest even in humanity as a whole. Like, she was raised by fucking aliens. Yeah, her fucking personal, identity and even concept of what a woman even is probably screwed up to high heaven. So what relevance does it even have?
Yeah, it's like, or like look at Tomb Raider.
Let's not even start on that, because that is a real morass of some actually genuinely reasonably argued points of sexism, and then on the flip side, a really fucking wrecked character who got hit in the face with a feminism stick so many times she no longer has a face.
That's a lot of hits.
That is a lot of hits.
I mean, they seem to have confused in the later iterations of Tomb Raider the concept of being strong, independent, and all the rest of that jazz with being fucking brutalized at every available opportunity. It's like she, in, what is it, Rise of the Tomb Raider, she's basically the plot's chew toy, and it gets to be...
Fucking hell, can you just go in?
Hello there, Robert.
Oh, yeah.
I'm sorry, is Robert talking to the cat or something?
No, he's getting his charge cable.
Yeah, and headphones as well, because...
Sorry for the interruption, peeps. This was not to be expected, but there it is.
Guy has to charge his shit now and then.
Dead. I'm pretty sure we're racking up the sexism points a lot faster suddenly.
¿Dónde está?
All right.
That's yours.
I'll try to keep him quiet if at all
sorry,
possible.
But Die has
There we go.
effectively horrified me. Yeah. In the group chat. Hang on. Yeah, I'm just trying to save the picture so I can put it up on Imgur. Yeah, let's save it under monsters. That seems appropriate.
God.
This is gonna be good. I have a feeling.
Well,
Good,
it's
not
that
in that
whole
good way.
fucking, it's that whole make your face look like a woman, or the opposite gender, make your face look like a child, make your face look old, and that. And Davey has done it, and he looks horrifying.
What? All right. Call me intrigued.
But yeah, I'm just getting the picture up so that people in the chat can see it.
Oh my God.
What am I missing? What the mother monkey am I missing?
Go to the grumpy chat. You'll be able to see it.
Oh, okay. Yeah, cool. I was looking in the Google Hangouts chat box, and that no.
Is this something that he actually put out on Twitter? because
I don't know. I don't actually check his Twitter.
I don't either. I stopped following him a long time ago on Twitter. He had
But
nothing
yeah,
entertaining to offer.
pretty fucking horrifying.
Did we have a point?
But we were talking about the whole fucking sexism thing, and apparently I can't fucking save the image.
All right, hang on. I'm gonna. Yes, okay. I've opened the link in a new tab, so I can just wait. Can I paste a link into Facebook?
Don't you mean into?
Why did I
link
say
it into
Facebook?
link it into the Hangout chat, and I'll post it across because you don't have mod powers.
That's my problem right here. Okay, yeah, dropping it into the Hangout chat so that Kat can swoosh it across to you people. I said sending it. Sending it. Yes, there it is. I am a technological genius.
Floating around Twitter and Facebook.
Yes.
Like she did a one with her and Armored Skeptic, where she looks like Leafy and he looks sexy as all fuck, in her opinion.
Thank you for that interjection,
but
Rob.
She would think that he looks sexy as all fuck. But yeah, I had seen her one earlier, but you know, it's just like, oh my god. But yeah, thank you for that, Di. You fucking horrible person, you. I am now going to call Di a genuine bitch because she fucking. I'm not going to put it up on my feed. No.
What the hell is wrong with you, lady? Put it up on your feed.
She will do, though. If I know anything about Di, she'd be like, yeah, okay, I'll do that.
Yeah.
Put it up on your feed.
But yeah, Davey is annoying at best.
Did we have a second topic for this?
No, we were just talking about video games and stuff.
All right, so we're slipping into the bullshit section of this now, then.
Quite possibly, yeah.
What? That never happens.
I'm sorry. Our very serious conversations about things that make a lot of sense and are vitally important for everyone to hear.
Right.
That's all right. I'm quite laughing at the placards for the Science March as well.
I'm sorry, Science March.
Oh yeah, well, the Science March is like really sexist. Not Science March. Science is sexist and racist and stuff. So they have to march against his sexism and racism.
Down with science, man. Down with science.
Yeah, I have actually seen, and this was the funniest thing. I just fucking cracked up laughing. Yeah, that there was a chick saying that the white man's science isn't real science. Real science comes from Africa, and it also includes things like black magic.
I've seen that.
Oh wow!
And she like it was like a half, like 15 minutes, 20 minutes rant that I saw where she was just trying to convince everyone, and they were clicking their fingers, so you know it was a fucking.
Were they
you know
bobbing
that
their head, doing the zigzag?
Well, clapping, it can be really triggering for SJWs and feminists and stuff, because loud noises can invoke PTSD, and therefore, if you want to clap, you actually have to click your fingers.
And how is not a sudden sharp noise?
Well, I'm just kind of curious. I mean, it can trigger PTSD, but what do they have to be like traumatically? You know, what was their traumatic event?
Oh,
not that I just can't imagine that many SJWs experiencing an actual traumatic event, other than hearing some story about somebody else having one.
Oh yeah, but they're having a PTSD flashback in solidarity. You see, they're being good allies.
Right, there you go.
Well, no, it's like they say, like, oh yeah, Twitter can give you PTSD.
What?
What the fuck?
Oh, yeah.
Twitter can give you PTSD. Fuck
Oh
off.
yeah, they get PTSD from Twitter because what they do is they get like negative comments on there,
Oh
and
no.
therefore it triggers PTSD, and therefore they're
I am gonna fucking drown myself in a bucket of crabs.
Wow.
Please don't.
Little
Please.
nippy bastards all crawling up in my nose and sniping through my septum and shit. Yeah, that'll take the pain away.
Gavin, for fuck's sake.
Oh, what the pretentious douchery even. I can't.
so yeah.
Gavin, what the actual...
Yeah.
What the actual... Fuck, why would you do that?
It's called hyperbole. Ask Monkey.
What are you on?
I'm sorry, I'm having a clandestine argument with Rob here because he's come to charge his computer on the sofa with me. So
Just call him lampposts.
yeah, it's a great big pile of lampposts, or in this case, a bucket full of crab-shaped lampposts.
Oh god. And meanwhile, Di is trying to promote fucking Davy's. Yeah, Di, you keep promoting Davy's fucking channel on my streams, and I'll remove your wench. Monkey, did someone say hyperbole? But yeah, it's like the. And it's no fucking wonder that they try to argue things like, like video games cause sexism, or they you fucking oh my god, are you looking at a woman? You're sexist. Or it's no fucking wonder that everything, they spot fucking some kind of ist or ism
Right.
in everything when it's like, oh my god, somebody called me a twat on Twitter. I now have PTSD.
The reason why I wear those really dark fucking blackout shades is so that no feminists ever catch me looking at them.
Yeah, well, for the most part, you're looking at them in, pure disgust, because I'm pretty sure you're not all that interested in fucking land whales.
Yeah.
Your rant is about sexism in video games. I thought it qualified.
Oh, it qualifies.
Yeah, okay,
we just
I'll
didn't
let
want
it. Yeah, I'll let it slide this time.
The cat, she's a fucking mod. Let it slide this time. It's practically her job to do this shit to you.
Yeah, there is that. Like I said, it's like just because I'll talk about him on the channel doesn't mean that I want him fucking promoted on the channel.
What, not even ironically?
There's a hell of a difference there.
We would all use a gun on him. I don't know. Maybe toes.
Okay, I am just swearing off this particular course of action right now for legal reasons.
I will sue you.
But yeah, it's amazing. I don't know whether it's like a power trip thing for them, or whether they genuinely think they're doing good. I want to be charitable and say they're just fucked up in the head, but again, that would probably be some kind of ist.
Yeah, it's ableist.
Yeah, you see, there it is.
Yeah, it's ableist to shame someone for any kind of mental or physical disability. Do you know what I find really funny? When you go and check out the profile of a feminist or something like that, and they say that they have mental illnesses, I'm like, well, yeah.
Tell me something I don't know.
It's like you sit there and you spout this shit. Of course, you're mentally ill.
I think we're getting
it's like-
perilously close to being unnecessarily personal and nasty.
I'm not talking about any specific one person. I'm talking about people in general.
Oh, okay. I thought you were just
I could talk about
obliquely
one.
saying that this is Davy at the same time.
No. I don't think Davy is mentally ill. I think that he's.
Anyway,
I think
mental.
let's not be shit talking. That's my point.
Yeah, no, as I'm just saying, it's like I don't think that Davy is mentally ill. I think that Davy is. I think that he has drank the Kool-Aid and he hasn't, like, actually found. It's like he hasn't had something happen to him yet, which makes him sort of sit back and go, "Well, that's kind of shit."
Yeah, it's like where in your mind do you have to be? I mean, is it a case of just like sleepwalking into this situation, or is there some kind of mechanism for it? Because, I mean, I'm just confused.
Hey, I'm not. I'm a bitch. Get it right.
And the conversation takes a turn. Yes.
Sorry, I was responding to Tony.
That's the thing I think they all fail to understand is we're all just assholes to each other constantly, non-stop. On some level or other, all human beings are just massive raging douchebags in their own unique and interesting ways. And rather than come to grips with that and like find a way to deal with it and actually integrate it into their lives and make it a thing that they can steer and maneuver in their own way, they try to codify it and turn it into a fucking mallet to hit you over the head with.
Yeah, well, they don't want to have any sort of challenge or anything like that. They don't want someone to turn around to them and go, well, actually, the world works like this, and if you don't fucking bend to it, you're going to get absolutely nowhere. They want the world to bend to their own whims.
But to the extent that they'll say, oh, this kind of looks like computer graphics. No, it looks like a guy in a car with a camera pulling up and shooting someone. I just... Gabur.
Yeah, or they will take the, one of the sex scenes out of GTA, which is funny as fuck.
Oh, they are
they're
hilarious.
Completely clothed.
Out of context, they're hilarious.
Yeah, out of context, they're just funny as fuck. They're completely clothed. And, the graphics are pretty fucking shit.
San Andreas was the best for that, I think.
Yeah, and they're like sort of looking at it going, look, these graphics, they're so realistic. It's like, it's like you could literally hire yourself a prostitute and then you can beat her to death. There's no male prostitutes. Male prostitution doesn't happen. It doesn't exist. It's like, yeah, so there's no male prostitutes. So, yeah, you can beat her to death with a fucking 12-inch black dildo, rob her, get into a car, and run over lots of other women. Have you actually seen like all the men that got run over and beaten to death with fucking 12-inch dildos and shit like that? Because you can do it to the guys too. It's not just the women.
And also, this entire sequence is fucking hilarious to watch. No, am I just a sick bastard?
I always thought it was a good way to get your money back.
This is what we call proactive investment managing.
Exactly. I mean, if it wasn't good enough, then you get your money back. She argues with you, and you say, no, I want it back. And then you just beat her up and take it.
Oh, dear. I'm just...
Yeah, it's like, they're sort of saying these things, and you're just like, guys, are you fucking for real? I mean, like, honestly, are you guys genuinely for real? Because
we have two options for that, right? Either yes, they are for real, they are like borderline insane with the amount of pretty much almost schizophrenic dissociation from reality that's required to genuinely believe this shit, or they're the biggest pile of assholes ever trying to turn the most ludicrously weak-willed sheeple, and I hate to use that word, but sometimes it's appropriate, against the rest of us as some kind of bludgeoning device.
Unfortunately, I honestly think it's the second one.
See, I want to be an optimist, I really do, but my fucking patience with humanity is increasingly wearing thin.
And it doesn't help that I watch all those videos.
Are you sure?
No, it doesn't. I must be getting like subliminal shit while I sleep sometimes.
Gavin,
Shush
where
with
the
your
fuck
crap
is your
and
tin-
peeking the microphone.
where
And,
the fuck is your tinfoil hat?
see, this is why I told him to fuck off to the other room.
Ninja.
But what even was I saying? I had a point buried in there somewhere, and it's just fucked off out of my head.
I don't remember.
Yeah, neither do I. Can't have been that important. Rolling on.
Think about it, Boomerang, it'll come back to you.
Yeah, probably. Maybe. If he's lucky.
I don't know.
But yeah, you have, it's like the cognitive dissonance that these people have to fucking put themselves through to actually fucking argue these kinds of things, and the fucking backflips and mental gymnastics that they have to go through to have any kind of argument, is absolutely amazing. It's like they're going for gold on that one.
Right, exactly. Yeah, the whole thing, I mean, it just gets to the point where it makes my head hurt just thinking about the level of stupidity that they keep coming up with.
Hey, can I tell you one which is really gonna hurt you then?
Oh, great. Yes.
Must we?
Okay, so I watched a video, and it's quite an old video. It's from last year. And a college in US actually filed a hate crime. Yeah, they filed a hate crime fucking incident for a post-it note.
What
Would
the
you like
fuck?
to know what the post-it note said?
Good.
The post-it note said, "Suck it up, pussies."
Uh-huh. Wow.
Oh.
Context, please.
Oh, please.
It was on Llama's channel, but like I said, it was
No, I mean
quite
the woman who went fucking nutterbutters over it and filed a hate
oh no, it was
thing
like,
needs
it was
context.
it was like a whole fucking like division in school. They had like fucking 5-6 people there, and they decided their best course of action was to file it under a hate crime. What it was they had a table in one of the rooms, in one of like the common rooms and that, and they after the election, what you could do is you could write your thoughts down on post-it notes and stick it to the table. And one of them, someone took one of the post-it notes, wrote "suck it up, pussies" on it with a smiley face, and stuck it to the window of one of the other common rooms. And it caused a great deal of distress and pain and anguish. And, people just couldn't cope with the post-it note.
And of course, whoever wrote it, I'm guessing a guy, was probably like, point proven.
No, absolutely. You know what? I genuinely, honestly, I'm coming to the point where it might just be time to reinstate like Victorian levels of mental help for these people. Like flood therapy is the only thing that will fix them now.
Right. It's getting really close to that point. I agree.
It's like you just need to be exposed to all the shit you hate and fear in vast amounts until you just desensitize and realize, like the rest of us, it don't mean shit. What the fuck? What does it matter to you, really? Flip them the bird and carry on with your day.
Well,
What was it I said previously about traditional values?
Oh.
We were having a conversation in the group chat, and I said that it's probably time that we actually go back to traditional values and things like that. Not all of them, because some of them are very very outdated,
pretty fucked up as well.
Yeah, but it's like we do need to have a return to traditional Western values, because we're really not getting that at the moment.
Right.
Fuck it, any values at all would be good. Just any kind of system that doesn't rely entirely on whatever you want, dear.
Right.
Well, I will put a caveat on that. Not the kind of values that would have me thrown off a building or executed, or just for being bisexual.
Yeah, that's always a fun fucking time right there.
Yeah, right. Let's not have those values.
No, I agree.
Let's put that shit back in the box it came from and just forget where we found it.
Are we allowed? Can we send it back to the Middle East?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, that would be quite the fucking airmail bill, don't you think?
It might well be worth it.
Yeah, and I don't think you'd get enough crates of the right sort of size. You'd have to, stomp a few down with the foot. That's got to be abuse.
I'm good with that.
Cat, head foot stomper.
Hey, we can use that. What is it? 37 million billion or whatever it is that we were sending to fucking. Yeah, that we were sending to the European Union.
Well, I mean, let's face it, places like Syria need as many quote unquote moderate Muslims as they can get. So, it's an all-round win for everyone, right?
Yeah, it's like, can we actually keep the genuinely moderate ones though? The ones that are actually advocating for reform and stuff like that. We can keep
how do we find these people?
The others. They're actually they tend to be activists and quite loud about it.
Oh God, we are being such terrible Islamophobes right now.
Hey, I'm not an Islamophobe. I'm not fucking scared of them. There's no irrational fear here.
You should be, Jesus Christ. Yeah, it's not a phobia. It's a rational fear. A rational fear.
Yeah, I'm quite happy. I'm quite happy to send them back. These ones are defective.
Defective. Just a mass recall.
Mark Wood, I keep fucking offering him to join us, but he's always busy.
Yeah, Mac? Who's Mac? When did I find a Mac? Mark would absolutely be a riot in this shit, though.
Yeah, I've offered him to pretty much every stream I've had, and he's always really busy, and that's so.
We need to kidnap this man. Sarge, do you have your bungee cords and duct tape ready?
I always
Hey,
do.
Sarge,
They're part
Sarge
of my.
has something. Sarge has something better.
Oh.
Sarge has his phone number.
I do. Well,
Oh.
I have one of his many phone numbers.
Right, kidnap this man. We need him on stream.
I'm pretty sure that he comes equipped with multiples.
Yeah.
Although the last time I sent him a message, he did not answer.
No, he didn't. That's because he was busy.
Yeah. Yet again.
Yeah. Yeah. I understand it. You know, it's like yeah, I'm not gonna sit here and bitch about him. You know, not being able to market to make it.
Right. Yeah. We all understand what it's like to be busy.
Yeah.
Mm.
But yeah,
Some
Tony,
more so than
Tony's
others.
right. Tony's right. Mark would love it. I'm gonna tell him to go back and watch it at the very least.
Right. Exactly.
Can I briefly steer this back to a vaguely like point-shaped direction?
Why would you want to do
Maybe?
something silly like that?
Well, I'm just like it just occurred to me. It's like in all this hoo-ha and hubbub about various popular franchises and games promoting all kinds of nasty fucking behavior. Where's Assassin's Creed in this shit?
Oh no, Assassin's Creed is you know, particularly the ones which have like prostitutes and stuff like that, because you know it's like it doesn't do the whole historical thing. So you know, it's prostitutes never existed in historical times because they don't exist now either.
Right.
And you know, it's like, oh my god, that prostitutes and that their only use is so that Althea or whatever the fuck his name is, you know, that they're only there so that he has a way to yeah, he has a way to hide and evade the guards and stuff like that. So they just basically war candy, you know, for him to be able to get close to his mark or
I mean,
to hide from the guards and stuff like that. Therefore, it's eminently sexist.
yeah, but you'd have thought something like he's literally a murder simulator. Okay, let's not be beating about the bush here. It is a genuine murder simulator. It's not a very accurate one, but that's beside the point. You'd have thought that would be grabbing all kinds of fucking bullshit headlines left, right, and sideways.
Oh yeah,
So,
it did.
Not to the extent of, oh my
so
god, this
popular
causes
anymore.
murders.
I mean, right in the name, it kind of tells you, hey, this is all about murder.
Yeah, and it even glorifies the Brotherhood of Assassins.
Right.
But yeah, you know, it's like it had the whole fucking. I believe Anita had done a whole fucking video on Assassin's Creed itself.
Yeah, but we can like safely discount her for this purpose.
Yeah, but you know, it's like, you know, that there was but yeah, that there was a whole fucking thing about Assassin's Creed being sexist, Assassin's Creed being promoting violence and stuff like that.
I don't know. Maybe
No,
it's just
I
too
think it
glitchy
had-
to be believable. Maybe that's the problem.
I think it has. I think it has more to do with the fact that first-person shooters and games where you can go from first to third and third to first person and stuff like that. Shooters are the ones that promote gun violence because they have guns in them. Therefore, they promote gun violence. Whereas nobody's going around fucking slashing people up, despite the fact that I could probably spend like 3 minutes and get you a whole bunch of articles.
I'm sure knife murder is like a lot more common than gun murder.
And quite Probably. I mean, it's quite often the weapon of the crimes of passion and stuff like that.
Right.
Yeah.
You know, rather than guns, because knives tend to be more easily on hand in quite a few countries.
Oh yeah. Now
Oh yeah,
there's one.
Manhunt.
Yeah, we can absolutely talk
Manhunt.
about that shit for weeks.
But yeah, Manhunt had a whole fucking thing on it where it was promoting violence, and you know, it was promoting fucking just going out and killing people.
Yeah.
For the
Then
fun.
there's another genuine murder simulator. I mean, I can understand them wanting to censor that, or like at least ensure that it has like the highest rating possible, because it is just gratuitous, visceral, bloody murder. And it's even couched in terms of being like recorded for the purposes of cutting together like snuff movies and shit. It's like that. There's a case there. And I was kind of
Right.
following that with some degree of interest because, you know, there's a conversation to be had about Manhunt, given its framing and the gameplay and the manner in which you dispatch your very human and very relatable enemies. So I guess my core problem with all of this is the targets they choose.
Yeah,
Right.
you know, it's like their targets is more often than not Call of Duty and GTA.
Those are
Those are the
targets,
two.
right?
Those are the two big names that they try to say promotes sexism and gun violence. But yeah, it's just like yeah, okay,
Just courting controversy is the
guys.
thing. It's
You know, it's kind of pathetic though. You know, it's like, you know, okay, guys, we've heard all this before. Do you want to like start shouting something else now? Because for the most part, you know, gamers and that for the most part are just completely bored of what the fuck they're saying.
They're not going to get any traction at all.
No,
At least,
but you know, it pisses me off when you have supposedly reputable news companies like CNN, and I'm not saying that CNN is actually reputable, but it's meant to be, saying things like, you know, that oh yeah, these video games, these like Fallout 4 and Call of Duty, and that they promote gun violence, or you know, it's just like the video games.
well, I think it boils down to free publicity for their bullshit cause.
Well, and I mean, if you think about it, how many millions of people have played Fallout?
Oh yeah,
And
those.
you know, all these other games. How? I mean, you know, if I remember right, you know, Draco was saying that there was something like 24 million, like 24, 34 million, something like that. Fallout 4 games sold for console alone. So, you know, if you take that into account, then how come there's like just not mass murder everywhere? You know what I mean? Like you're talking about a ticking time bomb, apparently, because you know you're talking about say 50 million people with Fallout 4 alone. You know, then you throw in all the other games, and holy shit! I mean, there's like half the world's population is just going to get murdered tomorrow. It's just waiting for it.
Yeah, it's
there was
almost
people,
as if these killers actually have to have an already existing psychological predestination to disassociation and violent tendencies.
yeah,
I
well,
don't
you know,
either, right?
there was people in when Gamergate was going on and that were saying things like they were spending 4 or 5 grand a year on games. You know, and I could well believe that there are people out there that spend 4 or 5 grand a year on games. You know, when you
Yeah.
think that fucking, and they were talking dollars, not pounds, but you know
Right.
that they was a fucking brand new game fresh out is like $60-$70.
Yep.
So, and then you have X amount of games over the course of a year. Yeah, it's like that's gonna add up real fast.
I'm just waiting for the inevitable news story where somebody links the fact that people accidentally threw their Wiimotes into their TVs and broke them to rioting and vandalism.
Right.
Isn't that Antifa?
Yeah, but they can't afford Wii's because they're the poor downtrodden black folks.
No, they're not. That some members of Antifa were identified as college professors and stuff like that.
Yeah, but equally they wouldn't buy a Wii, would they? Because they're already convinced that video games are the devil.
Yeah.
True.
It's just like, what gets me is all the fucking video games that get called out as some kind of ist or some kind of problematic, and I have come to fucking hate that word. They're all mature 18 plus games. It's like the people that fucking say, oh yeah, well, video games are a problem, just want us all playing fucking Mario Kart.
Oh no, Blue Shell Cat. That thing's a murder
or
machine.
Fucking Kirby, or like fucking
Hubert.
Yeah.
Games that are acceptable for any age.
My question on that is this, all right? We're having this argument on the basis that impressionable minds are getting a hold of corrupting materials, right? Where the fucking parents at?
Whoa, whoa, whoa. You can't bring the parents in on this. I mean, and the parents are responsible? That's crazy talk.
It's like it's almost as if it's taboo to ask people in a position of responsibility to take some hand in the formation and upbringing of the children that we're supposedly corrupting by way of supporting these disgusting games.
No, you don't understand. It's not the parents' fault. It's society's fault.
Oh yeah, heard this one before. But it's like,
it's only ever society's fault. You can't blame the parents. You can't blame the fucking adults that go out and do these things. No, you are only allowed to blame society.
That's because people don't have to take their own personal responsibility then. Let's take all the responsibility out of the individual.
What fucking individual? By this point, we're just like grouped into gestalt entities with like big fucking racial and social stratification labels slapped on our foreheads.
Right.
It's like, hey, you are a cis white male, therefore fucking devil.
Oh yeah, well, since I'm in that bracket, I'm free to make all this fucking disgusting noise all I like because hey, I'm already damned, right?
Exactly.
So I am whatever you say I am. I think I finally understand what fucking Eminem was saying with that song now. Jesus, it only took me like 20 years.
Right.
Yeah, it's like that kind of thing is just fucking bullshit. It's like you can't turn around and say, oh yeah, I will judge a person as an individual, and I will fucking, so I will be respectful to those that earn it, and You know, it's like I don't just fucking give my respect out just because you want me to. You're not allowed to do that.
Well, no, that's exclusionary. That's favoritism. What are you, a fucking capitalist?
Kinda. I quite like capitalism. Thank you. Like, capitalism kind of means that, you know, I actually have stuff.
Hey,
I'd rather be capitalist than I would fucking communist. That's for damn sure.
And here's another thing that pisses me off: the massive conflation they have for socialism and communism. It's like, okay, so ideologically, I suppose the United Kingdom is a socialist capitalist democracy because we have, you know, things like social security, free healthcare at the point of delivery, and so on and so forth. But like beyond that sphere, you get into this weird idea that socialism equals communism. Like, no, socialism is like a I guess a political ideal, a kind of you know, a socio-political theory, whereas communism is a fucking economic policy.
Well, it's not just economics, though. You know, it dives into all parts of.
Yeah, but at the nuts and bolts of it, it's an economic policy. It's like, okay, so we look at the bottom and we find that all of the production is done by the lower class, and everyone above that class is essentially superfluous. So what do? We make everyone the bottom class. Now we're all equal. Everyone gets a slice of the pie. Nice. It's like everything else grows out of that idea.
Yeah, but it doesn't work.
No, of course it doesn't.
Proven fucking time and again. You know, every time communism has raised its ugly fucking head, it's been proven not to fucking work.
Well, there is a certain like flashpoint, sort of like a critical mass, whereby communism stops functioning. Very small nations can actually pull communism off, but they have to be fucking tiny and powerless. But again, conflating it with socialism, it's entirely possible to be an authoritarian communism.
Yeah.
It's, in fact, that is the norm. And people don't get that. Communism is very rarely fucking socialist in practice. They're related theories, but the practical upshot of both of them is damn nigh incompatible. That's my opinion.
Yeah, you know, and you know, it's like we have I mean, you look at Norway. Norway is socialist in policy at the moment, and it's doing really quite well for itself.
Norway is the one remaining big Scandinavian nation that hasn't gone completely batshit nutbuggers, right?
Yeah, it's like next door to fucking Sweden, and it's still holding on.
And Finland quietly cries in the corner as everyone ignores them again.
But yeah, you know, and you know, I agree with a lot of socialist policies and stuff like that. You know, it's like I don't agree with all of them. Some of them I think are just, you know, too fucking, you know, they just take it too fucking far. But, you know, a lot of socialist policies I do actually agree with and I think are very beneficial.
Well, that's because we happen to live in a pretty heavily socialist country ourselves.
Yeah, but even then, you know, looking at other countries that don't have, you know, the kinds of things that we do over here in England, and that, you know, I can see how having certain socialist policies implemented in those countries could actually really benefit the country.
Yeah, I guess.
You know, it's just you know, this fucking, you know, it's like I don't agree with communism. I don't agree with um authoritarianism. I think, you know, it's like you get too far authoritarian, you get fucking, you know, you dip into communism, you know, you go too far socialist, you go too far fucking the other way. You know, it's like I don't agree with any of the extremes on any of the fucking axes. You know, it just it in my head it just doesn't fucking work. It's not beneficial to go too far in any direction.
Yeah, but we've got fucking factions in politics almost pretty much everywhere that matters. Oh my god, so exclusionist statement. That are trying to crystallize and make absolutely immovable and unnegotiable points of policy and social theory that are just so ridiculously far left or right, they invite complete social collapse. That's my worry of it.
Yeah.
Damn, we need Sarge back. He was the life of this conversation.
I'm back.
Yay!
Hey,
I'm
what's
fucking magic.
No, I was just thinking that, you know, thinking of Fallout and how they want to drag, you know, games like Fallout. And I can understand to some degree trying to bring in something like Assassin's Creed and GTA 5 and stuff like that because, you know, the ultimate anti-heroes, you know, so to speak. But, you know, something like Fallout, yeah, sure, there's violence in the game. But by and large, games like Fallout and you know, Call of Duty and, you know, shit like that, you're supposed to be the hero. You know, you're not going around just randomly killing people just because it's
A fun thing to do.
right. You know, it's like, hey, you know, it's not like, you know, you play Fallout and I mean, you can with mods and stuff, but you don't start out as a raider and, you know, go rape and pillage and shit like that. You know, you're the good guy trying to figure out what happened to your son and you know, trying to do right by the world and all these things. You know, it's they obviously have no idea anything about the game and the topics that go along with it. You know, there's like, oh, there's guns involved and there's violence in the game, so it's got to be bad. You know, it's like, how about you? You know, they want to try to act like they're very educated people, but obviously they don't educate themselves on something as simple as what the games are that they're actually trying to drag into the conversation.
Well, the thing that gets me
Well,
with
no.
Fallout specifically is that if you look at the older Fallout games, you know, the Fallout 3, Fallout New Vegas, 1 and 2, and, you know, stuff like that, they're a lot darker than Fallout 4.
Right.
A hell of a lot darker than Fallout 4.
That is true.
And they're like, it's like they're going, oh well, Fallout 4 is promoting gun violence, but I don't remember any of these arguments for the other ones. You know, not in earnest.
Right.
I mean,
You know, and when you actually look at the, you know, the content in the earlier Fallout games, you know, they were so much worse. You know.
I don't know if you've seen any of the new Oxhornsman. He's put out a couple of videos for New Vegas, and right away he's like, "This is a much darker game," you know. And his most recent one, you know, it's talking about human trafficking and kidnapping and raping and, you know, mutilations and, you know, all this other kind of stuff, you know. And it's like, You know, it's definitely a much darker game than Fallout 4.
Oh,
But
for sure. And it's much better for it.
right, and the the character that you're playing is going and stopping that stuff. You know, it's like, if anything, that most video games are going to, you know, if people were actually susceptible to having a video game turn them into something, you know, and cause them to, you know, live the fantasy world or whatever, they'd be a bunch of fucking vigilantes.
Yeah.
And not you know, somebody randomly going out and killing some old guy that did nothing to them, you know.
Yeah, that
It's
was fucking walking down the street. He was walking home.
right.
Yeah, when the guy fucking shot him, he was just walking home.
Right.
It just makes no sense. And they're trying to draw parallels between apples and fucking concrete busts of Margaret Thatcher.
Yeah, not even with another fruit. They're just something completely not related at all. That's a pretty awesome analogy. I usually say like apples and bananas, but I like that even better.
This truly is a wristwatch with a built-in water fountain.
Exactly. That is hilarious.
Yeah, you know, and yeah, also your character, you know, in the earlier games, you can be a monumental fucking dickhead in the earlier games.
Right.
You know, you can be the biggest fucking asshole going. You can't do that in Fallout 4. You can be a little bit snarky.
Yeah.
Even if you don't fucking side with the raiders, all you can do is be a little bit snarky.
Right.
Why all the... I'm sorry, I'm just looking at this chat feed and all these emoji things Rob's spamming. Why?
He wants to play cards. I don't know.
Yeah, it's true though. I'm a fan of Fallout back in the day, from when it wasn't so horrifyingly realistic. And yeah, it was darker. It invited much more moral ambiguity. It gave you all the tools to be an omnicidal maniac, should that be what you choose to do. And it's just there. It's like there's no encouragement to do so, but it's there. Should
Right.
you choose it? It's like Westworld graphics.
Oh yeah.
You're quite the fan of Westworld at the moment, aren't you?
Well, I watched the whole thing and then immediately kind of lost interest. Although it was a very good series.
Westworld was a good series. I will definitely say that. I enjoyed
I mean,
it.
where's the fucking uproar about TV series? I mean, we've got fucking Breaking Bad, Westworld, as previously mentioned. The likes even of fucking comedically comical shit like, sorry, comedically comical. There's a double positive if ever there was one. Comedically cartoony shit like Gotham, for instance.
Right.
You know, that looks exactly like real life.
Mostly.
I mean, we
live
have,
action.
because we had the argument from the 70s, like, oh my God, TV is rotting children's brains. Blah, 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 blah. It's like, yeah, but nobody at any point ever said that fucking violent TV shows was turning us all into psychopaths. And it would have done a lot longer before video games came around.
Right. Exactly.
I just despair. I really do.
Unfortunately, there's a lot to despair for because of, I mean, just the asininely stupid things that they come up with. It's just like, I don't know. They just have to invent new and crazy ways to just make things completely stupid. It's like, how can we get even dumber today? Let's see if we can figure it out. And
I mean,
then they go about, putting forth their best effort.
No, you want to talk about getting even dumber?
oh God, no.
They went around fucking fuck, I can't remember the name of it. California, and they asked people, just random people on the street, questions like, who was World War II fought between? You know, like who were the major players in World War II? They were getting answers back like Barack Obama and that Muslim guy.
Dear Lord.
Well, they would give the date. They would give the date of when the Declaration of Independence was signed, and ask for the date the Declaration of Independence was signed, and they just didn't get it. They would say things like, "Oh yeah, it was like in the was it the 20th century? No, it was like the 1900s." I don't know.
This is your fucking electorate, America.
Walking down the fucking the lines for people to go and vote. Are you guys voting for Barack Obama's third term?
Yeah.
Oh, please, that is just brilliant trolling.
It just scares the shit out of me, these people.
These people have voting rights.
Yeah, well, I've been
These people
saying
have breeding privileges.
yeah. Well, I was just getting ready to bring that up. My cousin and I, we both came to a very serious agreement that one, people should have to pass the test before they can breed, and two, they should also have to pass the test before they can vote, because that kind of responsibility, both of those levels of responsibility, most people can't handle. Like, completely screw it up like right away, and the rest of us have to put our hands, put our lives in their hands, and it's just scary as hell that when you get to that point, you're just like, holy crap.
Welcome to the idiocracy.
Exactly.
I mean, I don't actually want to say that the world is going to wind up looking like that film, because what the fuck? But
well, what gets me is
sometimes I can't help but wonder.
Into America and that, you have to fucking do all the tests and stuff to say that you know things about America.
Right. Yeah.
And yet your general population don't know shit about America.
Right. Yeah.
That's fucking scary. These people are fucking breeding and voting, and they're doing all these things which have an impact on the fucking whole population and that, and they are thick as shit.
The next time that you
the worst kind of thick as shit as well,
the next time you guys have a census, right, you should also have it so that everyone has to take the immigration tests, and anyone who fails has all their voting rights temporarily rescinded, and also are on a list for, like, if this person has any children whatsoever, or like gets pregnant or makes someone pregnant, they should have an immediate fucking legally mandated chemical abortion.
I would be all for that. I don't
agree with abortion.
I'm sorry, but it might be the only standard by which you can fucking right the ship.
I have relatives that in fact, it's the cousin that I had referred to. His brother has at least 3 kids, and like the first 2, no hope of ever like actually being a father to them. One, the mother of the first child, basically she won't, or not that she won't, but her parents, I think it's her parents, won't let him anywhere near the kids and her. And the second one, you know, happened exactly what you'd expect, you know, life, and she realized that he was a shithead and whatever, and she took off and blah blah blah. So he doesn't really see the second child at all, and he's currently married to his third mother, baby mama, and but yeah, he should not be allowed to have kids. Like, he's 20-ish, like I think he's like probably 22, 23 at the moment. And I just know he's going to end up having another child, and he can barely even support himself. And that's only been recent that he's actually started earning any kind of a living, you know. But at the same time, he's out there pumping out kids. It's like, people should not be allowed to do that. Should just not be allowed to do that, because it's just a drain on society, you know, as a whole, and it's just ridiculous.
Well, I went and I actually ended up having an argument with her, and we don't talk anymore. But I went on to one of my school friends' Facebook pages, and she's now got 3 kids, and she's the same age as me. I think she's a little bit younger than I am by a few months. And every single picture, even there was one where the sun was up and it was, you know, really bright sunshine, but the clock behind her said that it was like 10 o'clock. Yeah. So, you know, that's obviously 10 o'clock in the morning.
Right.
And she had alcohol around her. Every single picture. You know, and I turned around to her and I was like, well, you know, what the fuck is this? You know, you sit there, you've got a fucking bottle of, you've got a bottle of fucking beer in one hand and your newborn kid in the other. You know, what the fuck is going on? Why are you drinking so much? You know, you might want to go and get that fucking looked at. You know, that's not healthy.
Right.
And, you know, she had a bitch at me about that. And I was like, so where the fuck are these kids' dad then? And yeah, she was like, oh, well, the dad's not around anymore because I don't like him. And I was like, well, what do you mean you don't like him? You know, and she was like, oh yeah, I don't like him, and I don't like him being around the kids. And I was like, well, what did he do? Has he done something to fucking warrant that kind of reaction? She was like, oh no, just when we broke up, we had like this really big argument, and now I don't want him around the kids because he shouted at me. I was like, so he's not allowed to see his kids? And she was like, no, he's not allowed to see his kids. I was like, so are you taking money off him? And she was like, oh yeah, he's got to pay for them. Like, so he's not allowed to see his kids, but he still has to pay child support.
Right.
Are you fucking, you know, I was just like, that's fucking disgusting. That is absolutely fucking disgusting. And, you know, it wasn't like he'd done anything. You know, I think the breakup was over something like he cheated on her.
Right.
You know, and, you know, in my opinion, fucking, you know, she's going to be like that, then yeah, fucking go for it. But, you know, it's like he cheats on her, and now he's fucking banned from seeing his children.
Right.
But he still has to pay for his children.
I wonder if he's tried to fight for custody or anything of the children.
To be honest, I couldn't say. I know that she's got the kids.
Right.
But, you know, it's like I said, every single picture that I've seen, she's got beer. You know, she's got like a bottle of vodka behind her and a glass that looks like it's got Coke in it.
Right.
In front of her. You know, and the kids are in the picture. And this is like fucking in the morning.
Yeah.
You know, I'm like, no, you need to go and fucking get that looked at. You know, go and fucking go to some kind of therapy or counseling and get off the fucking alcohol, because that's not good.
No.
And, you know, and her friends and that, who were, you know, a lot of them were my friends at school, are like, oh yeah, your kids look really good. Oh, you're looking really happy in that picture. Nah, 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 nah. Like, you're looking so much better now that he's not there. But you go back and see the pictures of her with him and their little boy, because the pictures where he was in the picture, she only had the little boy there. Yeah, they're out and they're up on the moors, or they're actually out doing stuff, and there's no alcohol in the pictures. They're all looking really happy and bright, and that kind of thing.
Yeah.
And it's like you go from that to sitting at home in almost every picture, apart from when she's out drinking with her mates, and every picture has got alcohol in it. And I just, it just fucking blows my mind that that kind of thing is just, and nobody was willing to fucking turn around and go, no, you need help.
Right.
Yeah, but this is the standard now, isn't it? It's the mold after which we must all be patterned. And the more it happens, the more it's kind of put in the solution, inverted commas, pushing it further and further towards an authoritative interventionist state kind of idea. Because like you asked me 10 years ago if I would have said, oh yeah, everyone should take a test and those who fail it should be like disbarred from public life, I'd say hell no, that's an insane idea. That's like fucking, that's fascist level shit. It's like, well, now it's looking like that kind of thing might actually be a good idea under certain circumstances.
Right. But what's sad is the fact that society has gotten to the point that makes sane people, because I consider you guys both sane, and I consider myself mostly sane, to actually come up with the thought that actually seems like a halfway decent idea. Society has driven us to that point where, people have just had enough bullshit of society, because, I blame society because, society just keeps pushing it, and, people as a whole, don't want to take their own responsibility and all that kind of stuff. And it's become a societal norm. And it's just like, yeah, now what the fuck do you do?
The thing of it is, when it does finally fall to shit, which it inevitably must, you really, really should be all behind this, because men like you will be fucking kings.
I wish.
Well, no, you actually have the first clue on how to handle a gun for a start. That'll put you at a good advantage when the police are armed, quite literally, with stern words.
Right, exactly.
Yeah, just like this is the thing that got me with the whole we're gonna call for civil war, and it's like we're gonna end up in a civil war, and that is gonna be a really fucking short civil war.
Considering they're gonna start a civil war with the people that's got all the guns. Yeah, that's how smart they are.
Yeah, it's like, the Antifa's gonna turn up with fucking bike locks and sticks and poles and shit, and every fucker else on the other side is gonna turn up with a few guns and the drive to use them.
Right.
Yeah, for the love of God, don't go to war with the rednecks. They've got more trucks, more gasoline, more alcohol, more guns, and more bullets than you could ever hope to have.
Exactly.
And more brains.
I can't believe I'd ever come to a state where I'd say, actually, yes, the rednecks are a lot smarter than their opposition, but look at what we've come to.
So very true. It's sad. It's sad at so many levels. Obviously we stay here and we make little jokes about it and stuff like that. And it's not this whole thing is a big joke, but we do make jokes about it. And, oops, ouch, that kind of hurt. But what's sad is that it's just sad. That's what's sad about it, is you just like, some of the best jokes in the world always have that level of truth to them. That's where everybody really starts laughing. Anytime a comedian tells a joke and everybody's like, "Oh my God, I've experienced that myself." That's when that's a good joke, when it's got a serious base in reality. And that's where we're at now, is like that serious base in reality. And that's
the thing
as
about
hell.
If we wind the clock back like 20 years, and let's take Cletus the Slack Jawed Yokel from The Simpsons as like the classic proper fucking inbred hick of the 90s, you'd laugh at that asshole because he represented all that was dumb and clinically retarded about America. Right? You couldn't laugh at Cletus now. You couldn't. No. Because politics has drained all the comedy out of him. Simply by being even more stupid. It's like, exactly. Now your flannel-wearing redneck is actually looking like a forward-thinking, prepared person who knows his shit.
Right.
Daryl Dixon, anybody? There's a modern redneck. The man with a motorcycle and a crossbow who's got his head screwed on right and can think a tactical situation through in seconds.
Yeah, I quite like Daryl. Yeah, I'm a fan. I can't help it.
Yeah, it just, at some level, it just scares the shit out of me that that's where we're at. We've gotten to that point where one part of society has gone so far one direction that they've stepped completely out of reality.
Yeah, it's rather fucked up.
Well, hey, look on the bright side. Again, when this shit finally does happen, all our real life training playing things like Fallout 4 is going to come in mighty handy.
Right.
Well, not so much for you, Mark. You never got along with Fallout 4, did you?
Yeah, but I played the fuck out of New Vegas.
And let's face it, New Vegas is the much darker game.
Yeah.
That it is.
I kind of run this point into the ground now, though.
Yeah.
Right.
But yeah, it's just the pure insanity of all of it,
And it all hinges back to this shit, like video games causes people to fucking do drive-by shootings and crap like that. It's like, yeah, sure. If that's the world you want to live in, fine. Because you know what? It's going to come to the point where you'll wish that shit taught you how to defend yourself.
Right, exactly.
Yeah,
I don't know.
And there's much better games out there to teach you how to fucking fire a gun. If you're learning how to fire a gun from Fallout 4, and
you're doing it wrong.
Call of Duty, then yeah, have fun with that.
Hey, you're definitely doing it wrong.
What was the name of that game that DayZ was a mod of to start with? I forget what it was called.
I don't know. I didn't play either of them.
It sucked all the fucking fun out of the soldier fantasy because it was frothingly realistic. I mean, like, bug nuts insane for the details. It really, like, right down to things like carry weight, individual shot recoil, drop off, windage, etc. It's like every armor. Thank you, Monkey. Armor was a literal simulation, and God, was it horrifying as a game. it was the worst shit I've ever played that had the temerity to call itself a shooter and give me a gun to play with. But you might actually learn some of the characteristics of handling rifles that way.
Yeah, that it would. That
Yeah,
would be.
that was the kind of that's the kind of game where you can't just patch yourself up with with a bit of cloth.
Yeah, oh, hell no. You had to have proper medical supplies on hand. But it's crazy. And it comes right back again to they're just comparing the wrong things with the retarded things. Armor would have been a fine example of a game that teaches you to be a fucking killer. Except it doesn't, because you breach the Geneva Convention, your game ends right the fuck there. You might learn some of the characteristics of some guns, but it's just like such a strained comparison, even when you compare it against the things that are most like the thing you're comparing.
Yeah, it's just then this fact that they sort of sit back and they're like, oh yeah, it's these games because these games are popular. We can't compare it against the game that would tangentially actually fucking be appropriate. Hey Laura, how are you, hon? Yeah,
because those games aren't fun and aren't popular and don't stir up controversy when you mention them.
That's exactly it. It's like they can only fucking reference games that are popular, so that people are like, oh my god, these popular games. There's like fucking a few million people fucking playing it and doing these games, and then suddenly gun violence. It's like, well, actually, no, not really.
It's like the genuine.
Imagine if they actually tried to call out some obscure game that hardly anybody's ever heard of except for extreme gamers.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's like the fucking genuine. It's like the genuine news headline version of clickbait.
Right.
It's like, you won't believe how much of a psychopath this game makes you. Armor 2, nobody gives a fuck. Doom, oh my fucking god, everyone's playing it. Click, 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 click.
Exactly.
Yeah, and like I said earlier, it's like having fucking supposedly reputable fucking organizations fucking say things like that. It's just like, are you guys actually fucking kidding? Is this just some major trolling thing that you guys have got going on right now?
No, because no troll would be stupid enough that people would think that would actually be believed. That's the thing about it. So what sickens me about it is how far they're willing to reach to link a genuinely tragic real-world event caused by actual psychosis with the video game. It's like, you fucking scumbags.
1 second.
Okay, Han. Ed, it goes on for as long as we want it to, really.
Yeah, as long as it takes, man. Feel free to drop out and go to sleep. It will be up again as a video whenever we're done with it.
Yeah. But yeah, it's like, and it minimizes the fucking tragedy, of
Back.
like someone getting welcome back, Han. Yeah, it minimizes the tragedy of someone getting shot for no reason. And,
exactly.
Yeah, it's like, and someone getting shot pretty much for any reason could be viewed as a tragedy. But it's like, it's like it minimizes it completely, so that it's like, oh yeah, really, really sorry that your grandfather got shot, but blame video games. It's video games' fault.
Right.
This is like the much blown up and more disgusting version of my fucking 5-minute long breathless rant against PETA when they decided that they were going to equate space marines with the fur trade. Ooh, you know?
Yeah.
I mean, I might go off on one right now, but again, there's like Mum in the other room, Robert sat here on the sofa with me, they've got fucking neighbours, people probably have work even though it'll be Sunday. You know, it's like I could go on about the fucking cowardice, the opportunism, the moral bankruptcy it requires to look at this scenario and say, yay, I'm going to rub my hands together in glee because now we can target the games for this.
Right.
You know, it's like, well, they're yeah, I'm not going to say that they're losing on all fronts, but, you know, SJWs and, you know, these fucking idiots that propagate these kinds of bullshit narratives and that, you know, they are losing on some fronts. GTA is the only video game I will never play again. Yeah, taking it you had a couple of bad experiences there, Laura. But you know, that they're losing on some fronts, so that they're trying to claw back credibility by basically fucking slandering whatever they can to get the views.
Yeah, but they're pissing away what little credibility they've managed to hang on to so far. It's like they're trivializing themselves and making themselves to be a very bad, unfunny joke. One to boot. It's like that scene in V for Vendetta. I feel like that fucking Irish cop who sat there. It's like I had a feeling I could see how all this was going to play out stretched in front of me. You know, they'd set up the cordons and people would come out with their masks on. And then, of course, the Chancellor will react in the only way he knows how. You know, that whole scene?
Yeah.
Where the whole system just tears itself apart from within because of the stupidity of the people who lead the fucking movement.
Well, the thing is that, you know, they're going to push people too far in a minute. You know, we've got fucking morons calling out this kind of bullshit. We've got, you know, Antifa basically going, I don't like what's going on. I'm going to throw my fucking toys out the pram and batter people with them. You know, it's like we've got fucking SJWs shouting whatever fucking narrative they think people will listen to. You know, and they're losing. You know, the fact that Trump was elected, the fact that Brexit is a thing, the fact that fucking Le Pen is looking to be the next French fucking prime minister.
He's the centrist conservative French candidate, isn't he?
She.
Oh, she. Sorry, I always imagine that everyone in French politics is a man for some reason.
That's because you're sexist.
No, that's because every image I've ever had of France projected at me by the French has led me to believe that French women are much too beautiful and involved with more important shit than politics to even be involved.
But yeah, you know, it's like, and I'm hoping that Le Pen gets in. I don't agree, much like I didn't agree with all of Trump's, you know, all of Trump's platform and stuff like that. But you know, it's like you know, looking at the options once again, I'm sort of sat here going, probably the best option.
This is a slightly less shitty alternative. You getting tired there,
Yeah,
Cat?
you know, I'm smoking.
Oh, I see.
You got a fire extinguisher?
I'm not that bad. I don't often set myself alight.
That's good.
I like the often in there, implying that you have in the past and it's no big deal.
I have had the fucking end of my cigarette fall out and land in my lap before. That hurts.
Yeah, that wouldn't feel very good.
No. It's amazing when you get a bushfire going on and you're like, oh my God, I can totally tell this is a funny anecdote. And then, oh yeah, I'm on fire. Shit.
Yeah, she's pretty right wing. I mean, I'm like I said, I don't fucking agree with everything that she says, but I think overall she might be a benefit to France. But yeah, she is pretty right wing.
I'm sorry, I'm just dying here for a moment.
Yeah, okay, just do it quietly.
You stole my line.
But yeah, I have to look into her policies a bit deeper because I've only sort of peripherally looked at them. I think, you know, like I said, from what I've seen of her, I think she could be a benefit to France right about now.
Well, my big thing is, does she use common sense? Because really, that's all we really need is people that uses common sense. You know,
She uses a lot more common sense than her opposition.
then I'm all for her getting elected then, because I mean, if, and this is a huge if, Barack Obama had used common sense, I would have actually been okay with half the shit that he did. But he used zero common sense. So there's no way I could have ever felt good about anything that he did, because this was like, you just randomly make this shit up as you go, or what? You know? So
Endless platitudes and appeals. Hey,
right.
Speaking of Frenchness and shitty politics, what the fuck's going on with Canadians these days?
I know, right? I mean, they're actually bombing people and shit. Like, you know, you really screw up when Canada starts bombing you.
I was under the impression a Canadian bomb was just an empty shell full of little bits of paper with the word sorry written on them.
Right?
Yeah, as I've said there, it's like, you know, I don't like Farage either, but you know, it's like the fucking leftists and that, and their fucking rhetoric has caused me to agree with him on more than one occasion. And I don't like the man. I don't like him at all.
I mean, compared with David Cameron, who literally left his daughter in a pub one time.
Daddy, where are you?
Ugh.
Horrible.
Yeah, I mean, there's something to be said about observing other cultures, you know, other cultures' laws and other cultures' fucking, you know, other cultures' culture. When you are in that in that country,
Right.
you know, it's like I don't agree. You know, when she was like, "No, I'm not wearing the headscarf. I'm not wearing a headscarf." You know, it's like, no, you're in their country. Abide by their fucking laws.
I mean, they're laws for a fucking start. That's your first hint.
You know, and you know, it's like, yeah, okay, if I was in her position, yeah, I would wear the fucking headscarf because it's their law, it's their culture. I am there on a political mission. I don't need to be pissing people off any more than they're already pissed off. You know. So yeah, I would fucking wear the headscarf. But there is no way in hell in my own country I would wear the headscarf to meet with them. I'm in my own fucking country.
It comes down to a matter of individuals and autonomy, though, doesn't it? That's the nub of this whole fucking rambly ass argument we've been having for like 3 hours. It's like, do you identify with yourself, or do you fucking bow to some weird projected image of what you ought to be?
I'm whoever my wife tells me I am. As all smart men are. Honey, who am I today?
Today you are the footstool, darling.
Sweet.
As leather creaks in the background.
Right.
Oh dear.
No, I'm getting tired and off focus.
Yeah, I think we all are a little bit.
Yeah.
I'm sure we ceased to be entertaining a good half hour ago, probably earlier.
I'll just put it at 30 seconds. I mean, we're always entertaining.
Well, entertaining each other, certainly.
Exactly. Do we need more than that? Oh, that's right. We have an audience.
But, yeah.
I almost forgot these guys. Hey, audience, what are you even still doing here?
You know, it's like.
Don't you know
much
watching
bullshit.
YouTube fucking chats will rot your brain?
Apparently. Next thing you know, you'll be going out killing 90-year-old men for no reason.
Yeah, for the love of God, don't watch anything Jontron did ever.
Two words were never spoken.
Well, we can always have. Yeah, it's like we can always do a choice here. I can open up the floor to the chat, or we could say goodnight.
I'm up for the final thoughts round, to be honest.
You're up for the final thoughts? Okay. So, you want to do your final thought then?
Okay, yeah. Let me just put on my Jerry Springer look. We've covered a lot of ground today over pretty much only one topic, really. A lot of it being bullshit conjecture, and an awful lot more being some incredibly personal opinions. But the nub of the matter is this: that we're coming to the stage where right-wing authoritarianism might actually sound like a good idea. And when you've come to that stage, maybe you need to stop blaming the video games.
Valid point. Valid point.
All right, Gary, do you want to do your final thought?
Well, my final thought on everything is that what was the post-it note? That's my final thought.
Suck it up, pussy.
Suck it up, pussies. That's my final thought. It's like, people stop trying to find an excuse for everything. There's not an excuse for everything. Just sometimes bad people do bad things. Video games don't cause it. You know, maybe mom and dad didn't give them enough love. Maybe that's what it was. Maybe it boils clear down to that. Mom and dad need to give their kids more love, and not so much love that they turn into a bunch of assholes because they get fucking pampered too much. You know, don't make a fucking mountain out of a molehill. Sometimes it is what it is. And other than that, let's play some fucking video games and have a good time.
Well, my final thought is, well, firstly, we need to drop this fucking narrative. You know, we need to stop blaming things that are only tangentially or not at all related to what the fuck is going on. And not only that, but people need to grow up. You know, it's like stop with the whole, oh, I'm going to claim this thing because I don't like it. You know, that isn't helpful to anyone at all, including yourself. So yeah, that's my final thought.
It was a nice little roundup of incredibly subjective opinions.
Well, all these rants are pretty subjective anyway, so
Oh, that's why they're rants.
yes.
Exactly.
So
Awesome.
yeah. Well, I have been Sushikat, and I hope you've all had a fantastic day or night.
I have been Morsel, and I hope to God you go and find some information of your own rather than just trusting what we've said.
And I have been Sergeant Rock, and I hope people become more intelligent and less judgmental. And that's never going to happen.
Goodbye, everybody.
Bye.
Bye.